All right. Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Business Owners Mastermind Call, specifically the Small Business Owner Mastermind Call. We do this call every single Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. My name is John Tyrant. I'm the business doctor. Got Alan Reeves. Alan, please introduce yourself, sir.
Good evening, all. Alan Woody Reeves. I am a serial entrepreneur, I guess you could say. I've founded 5 companies since 1998. One of them I don't think about too much. The other 4 I'm very proud of. I've known John for quite a few years, and he's an incredible friend to the business, as well as a very results-driven human being, and I'm proud to be here as always.
Awesome. We have Ruth Mudd here representing Operation Delegate. Ruth, tell us a little bit about Operation Delegate.
Well, Operation Delegate, we are a virtual assistant company, so we basically do everything that a company would need in order for a owner to get out and do the best that they can do what they do, so that they can make money. We take care of everything from your human resources, emails, you name it. We do functions and so forth, arrange different things for to allow the owner to get out there or the salespeople to get out there and do what they do best and not have to deal with all the little things. That's what we do.
Awesome. Welcome to the call. So this week we're talking about this the 4th Thursday. So we always talk about administrative and finance. And so Alan, let me ask you this question. You've been in business for almost 25 years. There's basically 4, maybe 5, depends on who you talk to, pillars of business. You've got marketing, you've got sales, that feeds the revenue. You've got the operations and service delivery. And then you got this one area here, administration and finance of a business. Now, let me ask you this question. Of all 4, which one of those 4 is the least favorite to most small business owners?
Well, if we're going across the board with all verticals, I think it's without question administration and finance. That is not something that you are thinking about when you are awake at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about starting your own business. You're thinking of the dollars that you're going to be bringing in. You're thinking about the fact that maybe you've been working for somebody else for a long time and you can do it better. But man alive, once you hang that shingle, the world changes. It changes tremendously. And you have to either find ways or time or people that can do these things for you, or you've got to figure some stuff out really pretty quick. And boy, have I stepped in some holes with that.
I think we all have, man. You've been in business for any length of time. This area right here is the least, the one of the areas that is the kind of the last thing to deal with. But literally, once you've been through it with a couple of different businesses, you realize it's actually the most important area of the business. And if you could start out with that in mind, then it becomes less of a headache down the road, because ultimately it's going to come down to what is taking up your time as a small business owner. Where are you wasting time? Where are you spending time that you should not be spending? And typically, most small business owners don't face this area of their business until they hire, a couple of 2, 3, 4, 5 employees, and then they're forced. Now, keyword, they are forced to deal with this side of their business, and this is where, this is what really wakes you up in the middle of the night, because all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I got payroll due tomorrow. It's like one client came to me in, I want to say August of last year, started working together in September of last year. And he goes, you know what? I've done awesome at marketing, been awesome at sales, done awesome at service delivery and operations. We got a stellar company running close to $5 million a year in revenue. Got 29 people, but the administrative and finance side of the business is absolutely killing me. Right now, I've got $785,000 in outstanding receivables. And what's frustrating is I have to stop what I'm doing because nobody else in the company can deal with it. And I have to collect this money because I've got payroll, $300,000 payroll due next week. And I'm like, okay, welcome to the club, baby. It's like this area right here will, and the other thing he said to me is he goes, I started trying to work, this guy wanted to start working with me back in, I want to say end of May, early June last year, but he was too busy. He was getting sucked into every aspect of his business. His doctor told him if he does not change his ways, he is going to die early. And the dude's younger than me. The dude is 47 years old. He's a high school friend of my wife. And I remember him sitting in my backyard, and he's just like, dude, I just want to sell. I just want to go out and create new relationships and deliver on the stuff, but I'm getting constantly sucked into this side of the business. And, I now have blood pressure problems at 47 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't do anything about it. I feel like I am completely buried and I'm behind the 8 ball. Why? Because he had marketing down. He ended up winning, the Lowe's and Target contracts and Tesla contracts. And he's like, dude, I need your help. Not to mention I got a kid on the way, and I want to be able to live long enough to raise the kid. And I said, well, then let's rock and roll. But got busy. Finally, the kid was born. And he finally, a couple of weeks after, says, I have to do this. So we started working together. And so the challenge is this side of the business, I want to help you, the small business owner, those people out there that are going to watch this recording, not get into that trap. Because it is a trap that most small business owners fall into is they put it off. Someday I'll get to it. Until they become ultra successful. And then now they're forced to deal with it and play catch up. And it is a big pain in the butt. Transparency. I brought Ruth on that, to help me with marketing and business development. And I did not realize how much of the administrative side of my business I had let go and not systematize it. Like it's all up here, right here. And that's where it is with most small business owners. I know right here what needs to be done, but I can't bring somebody in and say, here's how things are done. Take it, run with it, and make improvements. So what we want to talk about today is how to start wherever you're at and get back on track with that, whether you're in startup mode or whether you're a seasoned business owner. I'm going to cover both because it's two different approaches. Number one, we share my screen here. If you're an already established business, already have revenue, you maybe even have employees at this point, I give you a resource. This is something that Operation Delegate specializes in right here. Something I created years ago when I'm thinking about hiring somebody. And the administrative side of the business is the number one hire. If you're in startup mode, I want you to continue to do your marketing, sales. I want you to grow, create a massive amount of income, revenue, and profits as quickly as possible. But I want you to keep this list constantly updated. Okay, I kind of filled a little bit out here, but it can be email, it can be keeping, it could be accounting, Filing. Filing is key. Document management. Document and records management. And let's say, what else, Alan?
Oh gosh, I mean,
Weiss.
there's the actual working in the business. I mean, for me in the mouse calls business, it's, engineering, field work,
Customer service. Here we go.
customer service, meeting with
So let's
clients.
stop right there real quick. So these are some key areas like document management. I'll tell you when document management really will come back to bite you in the butt if you don't do it. And that is when you get that letter from the IR and the S, and they say, hey, we want to audit you. Now document management really means something. Because if you don't have your document management in order and your filing system in order, you are going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay? Not that you lied or anything, but I can't tell you how many times I've worked with bookkeepers over the years where they say, hey, people bring me literally 2 years of receipts, statements, and everything in little boxes, and I'm supposed to put it all together. Okay? Because when the IRS comes to you, here's how they come to you. Okay? I know because I've been through it several times. They come to you and they say, hey, John, this happened to me back in 2005. So IRS sends me a letter saying, hey, we want to audit your 2001 return. I think it was like 2004. We want to audit your 2001 return. Specifically, we want to audit your mileage log. It's always one thing that they pick off your Schedule C or whatever form you're using for the entity that you have, and they audit that one thing. And if you have your act together with that one thing, then they typically don't go beyond that. But if you don't have your documents in order, guess what it does? It gives them permission to dig deeper, and the very next question they always ask, and if you've ever been through an audit, you know this, you fail the one thing, the very next question they ask is, give me your bank statements for every month of that year. Okay? And I happen to have that particular year, I was like off by 285 miles. Had all the documentation, but I was missing about 285 miles that I kind of overstated, and they wanted to find out what that was about. And so he says, hey, I did all the calculations and everything. I looked at your mileage logs and everything, and you're off. So here's what we need. We need the explanation on where that missing component is. And while you're at it, give us the last 12 months of bank statements. And I'm like, shit, And so my wife at the time had this housekeeping client that, was paying her $100 a week. And she wasn't properly documenting it. And as a result, they came back and they said, hey, you got $100 here every week, man. You got like $4,500 in unclaimed income. I'm like, what are you talking about? They go, well, she's running a business. And I go, no, it's a friend. She's cleaning what are you talking about? And they go, well, you own a corporation and you have your act together and you know better. So we're going to give you 100% fraud penalty. So I had to hire an attorney. I had to go through all this mess. They ended up saying, okay, well, since 2001's in question, let's talk about 2002. Oh, by the way, while we're at it, let's go into 2003. All because I didn't take the time to make sure the document management was done correctly in my business. The administrative and finance side of the business is the last thing thought about, but it's the thing that will bury you as a business owner. And so what I want to tell you is this tool right here, I'll give it to you for free. send a text called, the subject line, put for list business. Okay, just put for list business, and I want you to text me your email and your name and your email, first and last name and email. And I'm going to send you this with step-by-step instructions on how to use it. But basically, you come up with, okay, here's the task. Okay, how many minutes per week do you do that? Email, let's just say minutes per week. Let's just say, 400 minutes. Okay. Bookkeeping per week, probably only twice a month, maybe 2 hours, an hour at a shot. So maybe, 120 hours or 120. Okay. And you just go down and you fill out how many minutes per week or hours per week or however you want to do it. And then what you need to put here is an X. Do you, in all administrative tasks, I'm going to go X, 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 X. I don't want to do any of it. Okay. Don't like it. Not great at it. Don't want to do it. Then when I'm going to go, okay, can I automate it, delegate it, or outsource it? And this becomes my master list of who and when I need to hire a skill. Now, what I need is a process and a system to how I do it. So when you're a brand new business owner, okay, so I'm going to talk to it in two ways. You're a brand new business owner, just getting started, don't have any employees. You're a business owner, you have employees. So there's two different strategies here. First one is you're a business owner, you have no employees. Start putting in place Zoom. There's an app called Otter that will transcribe the text. Start recording yourself doing these tasks. That way you create training modules so when you do hire somebody to take on these tasks, such as Operation Delegate here. Operation Delegate exists. It's my wife's company, and I help perform it just simply because there's a lot of this stuff that us as business owners, we don't want to do. And maybe it's 5 hours a week, maybe it's 10 hours a week, whatever. But it's a lot easier to hire an employee or hire a subcontractor to do these things. It's so much easier if you already have how you personally do it already recorded and in place. So the person coming on can look at it and go, okay, this is how it's being done now. I already have a bunch of ideas on how I'm going to streamline and improve this process. I mean, Ruth's already come to the table with, hey, you know what about this? What about this? I'm like, finally, I just said, whoa, hold on, time out. Here's the things. Here's how I've been doing it. You have 100% my permission to make whatever modifications or improvements you want to make it better. Okay? That's a great way to delegate right there. And so you'll be able to have the recordings, Zoom recordings, audio, video, and Otter will give you the transcription of how you do these functions in your business. So that way, when you do want to delegate it, automate it, or outsource it, your time frame from the moment you start working with the person to the time that they're efficient becomes shorter. If you don't have these things done properly in the beginning, that time frame becomes expensive. You'll still get there, and you need to get there, and you will have to get there if you want to scale. But I'm trying to save you headache and time by do it right out of the gate. Now, there's a good book. There's a really good book called The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. I want to highly recommend you get that book. That is the Bible in this area of your business. Because all of us as small business owners, when we start, we are the technicians. We are the one doing everything. We're the holy grail. We're everything the business is centered around. But at some point, if you want to scale, you're going to have to hire people. Otherwise, you're just going to be an employee that owns their own business. And so if you want to scale, get that book. Follow that book. Get another book called Clockwork by Mike McCallowitz. And he talks about all the tools that you can use to document your stuff. Really, really good resources for you. But this tool right here will allow you to determine, okay, when do I need to hire somebody so I can delegate it? Do I need to get some software or technology so I can automate it? Or do I need to outsource it to a subcontractor? And this tool right here, if you maintain this list, will tell you flat out when you need to do it and how you need to do it and what you need to do. I've used this with every one-on-one client I have. They're all very, ran very, very efficiently and very profitable. When you have your operations and systems running efficiently, it equals profit. When they're ran inefficiently, and Alan and I know this from the IT space, when you don't have automated systems in place to track your customers and the updates and the renewables and when the computers need to be replaced, if you don't leverage the tools to do this, then you become a very inefficiently ran business, which costs you having to hire multiple employees to do things that one person can actually do, which ultimately costs you a lot of money. That's the first tip. When it comes to finance, I'm just going to cover this real quick. Then I'm going to open it up for Q&A. I'll get Alan's feedback, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. When it comes to finance, it's very simple. Get the book, profit first. The book, profits first. Say it again. Get the book, Profits First by Mike Michalowicz. Profits First by Mike Michalowicz. Follow it. Treat it like it's the Bible, and your finances will run smooth. You'll always make money. You won't waste money. You'll always be on time with your taxes. Everything will run smooth. I can go through an entire boring segment about business finance. That book right there and that system that Mike has created, every single one of my clients runs it, and it's very efficient and it's very profitable. You always get paid as the owner. So let me stop sharing here. And Alan, do you have any commentary about what we've talked about? Any additional stuff as far as the administrative and finance side of the business that you want to cover today?
Where to even start? I mean, right off the bat, those references are gold. The E-Myth, not only is the E-Myth valuable in exactly what you talked about, but for the entrepreneurs such as myself, and I've been through this in several different cycles over the past 24 years. If you are finding yourself in a state of overwhelm or burnout, the E-Myth is a great book to get you to think, to just stop and breathe and think for a moment about why you did this in the first place, why you hung that shingle out, and what the original goals were. That can be a very grounding thing at a time where it's needed. Profit First is something that my company's been doing for about a year and a half. That methodology is a godsend. I'm telling you, you're able to very quickly figure out, number one, if you're making money or not. And it also gives you a safety valve to where if you're just breaking even and maybe you have a 5 payroll month, you've got a little reserve to dip into. And if you're just winging it, if you maybe you're that $5 million business, $5 million a year business John was talking about, and because you're bringing in cash, you don't really sweat it. Like you go, well, I've got a month of QuickBooks reconciling to do, but I want to take my kid to that ball game, or I've got now I've got 3 months of QuickBooks reconciling to do, but that's not really. Now I'm really going to have to schedule time to do that. You've got to find a way to be on top of that, whether it's a methodology or whether it's a human being or something along that line. If you don't, it will bite you. I can tell you the best example that I have for the audience would be back in 2010. I had a payroll coming up, and I had a very different business model at the time for my IT company. It was what we call break fix. There was not much regular recurring revenue coming in at all. There was a lot. We got dozens of calls each day for people that just wanted us to come out and fix something. And I was in that mode. We were bringing money in, and I needed to catch up on some things, but I kept finding ways to not do that. And then all of a sudden in May, we had a catastrophic flood here in Nashville, and it decimated the West Nashville community that my office was in. And I woke up on a Friday morning after that had happened, our receivables, the people that owed us money, many of them didn't have a home anymore. And I had to come up with $9,000. And in our liquidity account, in our payroll account, we had $1,500. And believe it or not, we made it through that. I just got on the phone, and so did a couple of others, and I even had a couple of texts when I explained the situation to them gently. Basically, we don't have the safety net that we really should have. And we have all the, 60,000 in receivables out there, and we don't have any idea if 2/3 of them will ever be able to pay. And I remember I had one tech, young guy, and he was gangbusters at the time. He stood up and said, "I'll be damned if I'm going to lose my job because of this flood." And what was remarkable about that is that tech had lost his home in the flood. But he said, whatever I need to do to help. I made a mental note to myself to never, ever, ever be in that position ever again. So there's a lot. Now we're in a different era. I can tell you that just this past week, in order to manage my time more efficiently, I subscribed to a service. I decided to try it out. I'm not advocating for it. I'm not affiliated with this service at all, but it's really quite cool. And basically, it converts your to-do list into calendar items. You create a to-do, and you say, well, it asks you, how long do you think this will take? 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 2 hours, 5 hours? What do you think it'll take? And what is the priority of this item? And does this item have a hard deadline or a soft deadline? What is that deadline? And it will convert that task into a calendar event. It integrates with Microsoft 365. It integrates with Google Calendar. And it will take a look at your appointments and your meetings that you already have scheduled. It will not touch them, but it will find ways to put these items on your calendar around your prefab schedule.
All right, what's the app name, dude? I'm already salivating here.
So before I give you that, you mind if I show it to you?
You're gonna make me wait. Yeah,
well, you got to build up suspense, right, John?
Hey, I'm jonesing, dude. I'm jonesing. I'm like freaking addict right now, man. It's like this is one of those holy grail apps right here that is speaking my language.
All right, so let me do this. Now, the app, for those that are wondering, like John, is called Use Motion, all one word, USE Motion. And what you're looking at is my Use Motion screen. The blue area that you see are hard-coded events that I've either put there directly on the calendar or our ticketing system put there. The gray events are to-dos that have been scheduled automatically by the system. And what I can do is go over here. This is my calendar. I'll click on my tasks. And here are my to-dos. Next week, rest of the week, tomorrow, today. Tickets, certain cancellations, and you can tag them with projects that you have. You can go in here and create rules for meetings. You can limit the amount of meetings that you want to have per day. It will stop at that. You can also go in here and define. I'm obviously not super familiar with the scheduling. You can define your own schedules. Like, what is your day? Not work day, but what is your day? So I've got 9 to 5, 7 to 5, 9 to 5, 7 to 5, 9 to 5. Work day is obviously, in most people's case, 9 to 5, but in mine, I've designated some work hours on Saturday and Sunday because I do work 7 days a week. I'm trying to get away from it, but there's no way around it right now. In any case, you it's very easy. You just set up the system, you make your to-dos, and you go. Now I'm going to add a task right now. And this task name is going to be finally get John Pyron scheduling correct. And that's a long story, but John and I know this. So look here. I'm gonna say, well, what is this? What does this really mean? What is it like? Because this is important to me, and it's embarrassing when we miss a call with John Pyron. So I'm going to say 30 minutes because it's real. It's 5 minutes to make a couple of appointments on the calendar per week, but I also need to figure out what's wrong. Like John and I know that we have these regular appointments that keep vanishing into the ether, or they're on the wrong day, or something we were doing 2 years ago. So I'm going to say 30 minutes, right? And I'm going to put a priority of high, and I'm going to say a soft deadline of Tuesday the 3rd. Okay. And now, I can enter notes, start date today. I'm going to do day instead of work hours, because that way, maybe one morning when I'm not going to the gym at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake up and this is my task because the system has put it there. So I'm going to click schedule, and down here in the bottom left, you'll see recalculating tasks, and it's using its AI to figure out where am I going to put this on Alan's calendar. And boom, it fills it right up. So my day is more or less planned out for me from the moment I wake up in the morning, as are the next few weeks. So this has been, for me, because of the amount that I have on me, this has been a godsend. And we're talking about administration and operations. This is something that's very helpful. Does it replace a human being helping out? Absolutely not. But what it does do, and I'll show you this real quick. Oops. Let me re-authenticate, because you will want to see this. For those that can see your calendar, what you will notice is it marks its tasks as busy or free. That means that you can have personal to-do items or private to-do items. And if you're sharing your Google Calendar with your staff, they cannot see the topic or subject of those items. What they can see is whether it is busy time, meaning do not schedule over the top of this, or it's free time, where, like right here, it is a task that's been designated, but it's designated as free, meaning it's not right up on the deadline. And if you need to schedule something for Alan at this time, you can schedule on top of this. If you do that, if I do that, or if I have a staffer that schedules on top of the free time, Use Motion will automatically move that task to the next available slot. It's very, very cool and very, very efficient and very, very affordable.
Now, can you build teams out with this app?
You cannot at this time. I believe that is on their roadmap. I don't think that this app is.
It would be. I mean, you talk about from a business owner standpoint. It's like I could put my CFO in there, my operations director in there, my personal assistant in there, all these people in there, and I go, you know what? Here's all the tasks that need to be done. Here's the person I'm delegating it to. Here's the person I'm delegating it to. Here's the person I'm delegating it to. And all of a sudden, it goes out and it populates their calendar with the stuff that needs to get done.
Now, I will tell you, I am under the understanding, I want to set expectations properly here. I'm not endorsing nor advertising any of these solutions, but Use Motion does have a competitor in this space called Reclaim AI that I have not dug very far into. I believe it does currently have that capability. So that might be something that you would want to look at. Okay. In any case, what I can tell you is, from my standpoint, with all the balls that I have thrown at me on any particular day. And my own vision, what I'm trying to do in my own business, and things that I think of, things that are thrown at me, at least in the 3 to 4 days I've been using it, it has been a godsend from a time management standpoint. Now, I will tell you also that it helped me tremendously earlier today. I'm going to drift out of administrative for just a second. And John's sitting there thinking, oh man, but he's going to like this. He's going to like this a lot. We know that John's calendar and my calendar have a problem. We know this. However, none of the other calendar items that I've had have any problem with use motion whatsoever. So this morning I was able to set aside time and get some of my regular tasks done, but also prepare for a proposal that I had at 12:30 Central Time today. And we knocked that proposal out of the park. It looks like we're going to be able to take a $900 a month client into a $3,500 a month client. We certainly got a verbal on it today. And to be very frank, in the past, and I'm talking like last week, I don't know that I would have been able to manage the prep time for that quite as well as I had with this tool. So again, it does not take the place of the human element. It does not take the place of human labor. It doesn't take the place of something like Operation Delegate. It doesn't come close. But what it does do, it provides a very inexpensive way for you to take just your own stuff and not only manage it, but also broadcast to your other team members who you are sharing your Google Calendar with, hey, this is when I'm available. This is when I can help you. And that, again, the fruits of that are just now, becoming apparent. I have an idea that as I become a bit more fluid and more used to this, it's going to make a world of difference. And, again, it's an app. It's just an app. And these little things, little trinkets like that are what can make an incredible difference in your business. And we're talking about, kind of operations again. And this is going to be a shout out. This is something that John did for us years ago. And it was a game changer. And it was just an off the cuff statement that he made. In 2016 or 2017, one of those years, I was trying to overhaul mouse calls. I was getting ready to walk away from one of the companies that I had co-founded. And one of the challenges that we had, and it was tremendous, was we would get about 400 calls a month. And somebody had to answer those calls. And we needed a frontline person. And I had hired, there was a time in 2008, I had 2 people working full time doing nothing but answering phones. That was it. And we wanted to find a way to leverage an answering service that really, it wasn't like a traditional answering service. We wanted people to truly believe that these folks were part of the team. We wanted to know them. We wanted, and one day we were talking to John and we're like, man, we've been through a couple of different companies and it just doesn't work. We're not sure this works. I'm going to have to hire somebody. And John, right out of the gate, mentioned a small outfit called Front Office Staff. And we use them to this day. To this day, they might as well be family. In the automated customer satisfaction surveys that we send out, one of the questions that we ask is, who did you work with today? The front office staff employees are on that list because people deal with them every day. We tell them happy birthday when it's their birthday. And we have never met these folks in person. I would love to, and I look forward to the day that we do. But that was one little nugget that saved us. John, that saved us tens of thousands of dollars over the years. And it's just one little thing.
It was, they, like the amount of money that is paid to them for the service you get, I was, when I was talking to Louis Dearman, who fortunately passed away about a year or two ago. Really good friend. Him and his wife founded the company, but yeah, I was talking to her, I think about a month ago. She still has I referred 8 or 9 clients to the service, and they're still clients all these years later, And so, but if you're in a type of business where you don't answer the phone, they're going to the next person that they just searched on Google. It's the cheapest thing that you can do. And so, any type of trades business, any type of business that requires you to answer the phone, I mean, to hire a full-time receptionist in California is going to cost you a minimum 14. Well, actually, minimum wage now here is $14 an hour. Right? And by the time you load that up with taxes and everything, it's about $17.50 an hour. And so for theirs, it's like $299, $399 a month, and they answer the phone. That's all they do. Boom, 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 boom. They'll set appointments for you, etc. But it's things like that where this is one of those little socket in your business that literally could take the whole ship down. It's like, and people in the administrative side of the business no, I'll put that off until it's a big problem, right? And so, it's like changing the oil in your car. You buy a brand new car, no problem. You can, I don't need to change the oil. I don't need to change the oil. I don't need to do the maintenance. I don't need to do maintenance until the one day that comes when you're got a deadline to hit or an appointment to go to. You go out to start your car and the thing freaking, breaks down because you haven't done the maintenance, And so, in the situation of the administrative and finance side of your business, those things they need to be taken care of. And so here's what I'll kind of shut it down with today is go to operationdelegate.com. I highly endorse them. Not just because my wife's the owner, but because there's a huge gap. There's a huge gap in the space. And COVID has allowed a lot of people that are not going to come back to the workforce. They want to work from home. They have a skill. You should hire their skill. And once you get enough of that skill, then you can bring on an employee. But gone are the days where I have to hire an employee to do all this stuff and figure out, be a chameleon where they can adapt to all these things that need to be done. I can go, I need somebody for a very specific task, and I can outsource to work for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a week. A couple of other things that, because we're talking about administrative and finance, and I don't want to lose this, is most, probably 99% of the small business owners in this country, there's about 30 million of them, don't have a finance and accounting degree. Right? They don't understand their financial statements. I didn't understand my financial statements. Like the first two multi-million-dollar businesses I built, I handled the sales and the marketing side of the business because I was a minority partner. It wasn't until 2006 that I started my own company, 100% owner, built that to $1 million in 3 years. I knew the day I started, I don't understand operations, I don't understand bookkeeping, I don't understand accounting, and I don't understand finance. I'll never forget hiring Mike Sashi. I'm like, hey, I have no clue. Like, I can go out and sell. I can go out and market. I can get attention, and I can set an appointment, run an appointment, close. As far as service delivery, bookkeeping, finance, accounting, all that stuff, dude, I'm going to pay you whatever you want to charge me to run that side of the business and teach me how to do that. A couple of resources he gave me. One of them is a book called Accounting and Finance Fundamentals for Non-Financial Executives. highly recommend that book. And it's downloading right now, so I'll get you the author here in just a second. The other one is, and this is going to be a key book for every small business owner. At some point, you will face this challenge. I promise you. And it's called Economic Crisis Business Cash Flow Management. Economic Crisis Business Cash Flow Management. And let's see, okay, the Accounting and Financial Fundamentals for Non-Financial Executives is by a guy named Robert Rachlin, Rachlin, and Alan Sweeney, Allen Sweeny. Every small business owner should get this book. Okay, you don't have to be a bookkeeper in finance, but you need to understand how to read your financials. You leave that up to your tax person or your bookkeeper to explain your financials to you, that's where you're going to lose your butt, I promise you. Because you need to understand how to read a profit and loss statement, how to understand your balance sheet, whether it is truly balanced or not, and a statement of cash flows. Those are the three statements you have to have in order to understand whether you're profitable or not. You can go to your financial statement and it goes, oh my God, we did $385,000. Oh my God, we're rich, you know? But when you go to look at your balance sheet, you're broke, okay? Or you're underwater. And you're like, or you look at your balance sheet, you're like, oh my God, we got all this money in the bank, man. Life was great. And then you look at your statement of cash flows, you're like, holy cow, man, all this money is sitting there, but it's getting ready to disappear, you know? So you need to understand that. Economic Crisis Business Cash Flow Management by a guy named Jim Rohrer, Rohr, Rohr. Okay? Here's where I learned that book. Okay? I had an operations director in one of my companies. Okay? Millions of dollars a year in revenue. Okay? We handle our own payroll. He paid it at the end of every quarter. This guy goes on vacation. I go to get my gas tank filled. I'm being completely transparent. I'm not embarrassed by it because it was the best lesson I ever learned about literally accountability. Okay? Because accountability starts with us, the owner. I go to insert my debit card into the gas pump. Declined. I'm like, declined? I have like $120,000 in that bank account. What are you talking about, declined? Call up Amy. Hey, what's going on? She goes, she's typing in. She's like, I have no idea, but the account is at zero. Okay, now, if you're a small business owner and you're watching this, you know, like the like panic because 2 days later was payroll. Unbelievable. Okay, so point of the story is this: this dude, I signed the check, man. I had the money. He didn't mail the damn check to the IRS. Okay, and as the notices came in, I didn't know about it. Okay, now this has to do with everything with the administrative and finance side of your business, especially if you have employees. Okay, you better have checks and balances in place where when they go on vacation, here's one of the best tips I ever learned. I make sure every single employee that has ever worked for me, they have to, by mandatory, whether they like it or not, they have to go on a vacation every year. Number one reason, they need to recharge their batteries. Number two, I will go through their desk, their emails, everything. I write as the business owner. Okay? Because I never want to get surprised like that ever again. Now, I made it through it, but that book right there saved my ass. Okay? Because it taught me how to, literally, it took me 2 days to fix the thing, but I had to literally figure out, okay, how when the crap hits the fan, when everything goes bye-bye, how do you manage the cash flow side of your business? Cash flow is everything. Okay? You can have sales off the charts. You can have so much money coming in. It's incredible. You can have an ATM machine printing money, and all of it's going out the back door. You need to understand what cash flow is in your business. And so here's the next thing. This tip right here is worth $1 million. Twice a year, you get together with your accountant. It doesn't have to be a CPA. It needs to be somebody that understands your business finance. You're going to audit every single line item that is on that income statement, every single expense item. And every single expense item is deleted. Okay, it gets eliminated. It has to fight its way back on that expense area. And here's how that works mentally. Is that making me money? Okay. Is that expense making me money? Use twice a year. I paid LinkedIn $79.99 for 2 years. Not taking advantage of the premium subscription. Every time I went to delete it, I'm like, man, kind of grandfathered into the program. I'm going to use it, you know? And finally, Mike looked at me and he goes, here, let me help you out. Let me put my hand on the unsubscribe button, because you won't do it. You're emotionally connected to LinkedIn for whatever damn reason, but $79.99 times 12 is about $900 a year. Okay? And you're not using it. And so my client, Stephanie Scheller, really nailed this home for me, and that is twice a year she does this, because this is what I taught her over the last 8 years. It's like, hey, even if it's a $9.99 transaction, if you're not getting a return on it, get rid of it.
Yeah.
How many more people can you impact with the extra cash flow? And so when it comes to administration and finance, those are the, we talk about it last, but in reality, that's what will keep you in business. And so, Christina, you're a brand new business owner, just starting right out of the gate. You start off with profit first and implement that right out of the gate in your business, and you stick to it like a religion, you will not only make money all the time, but you will be very smart when it comes to what you should invest in and what you should not. You'll always have a reserve. You'll always make money. Okay? And then you continue to show up to this call every week. Share this out with your friends. Okay? This is what we do every single week. And I know we're a little bit over. And I know we didn't really allow a lot for masterminding. But this area of business, of all the 4 topics that we talk about every month, is literally, Alan's been in business 24 years, going to celebrate 25 next year. Been doing this for 32 years. I can tell you right now, this is the one area I wished that my mentors early on would have pounded in my head from day one. All of them, until I met Mike in 2006, were focused on sales, marketing. We just need to go get more business, man. But they left that area alone. And I can tell you from personal experience, and I want to save every single one of you headaches. I want you to succeed. If you take this area of your business first, put this as the holy grail, money is easy. Like, there's so many ways to go out there and grow business and get clients and make money. But if you can't keep it and you're blowing it on the back end with unnecessary expenses, you don't have what's called net profit. I was just talking to a 20-year-old kid today. Looks like we're going to work together starting next week. Just getting started in business. I mean, I started my first business when I was 20, man. So I've got like this heart attachment to this kid all of a sudden. And I'm like, man, if I could have gone back and talked to 20-year-old John Tyron, there's so many things I wouldn't change the journey I've been on, just so we're clear, because I wouldn't be the man I am today. I wouldn't be the business owner I am today. But to be able to help this kid out and to say, hey, you know what, let's do this right. This kid will be a multimillionaire by the time he's 30. Christina, be a multimillionaire by the time you're 30, 35. All you got to do is follow in the footsteps of somebody who's been there. And this is the one area I'll tell you flat out, and Alan will agree, if you do this area, you master this area, it'll save you so much headache down the road. Alan, you got a question?
It's not even that. It's just a statement. I know we're long, so I'm going to keep it very brief. We had a client many years ago, 2004-ish, that hired us, a gentleman named Peter Weiss. He had owned a jewelry store, very, very successful jewelry store on Times Square for many years. And he retired to Nashville. He lived in the penthouse of a retirement tower that is walking distance from where I am right now. He was a great friend of the business. He died just a few months ago. But in our earliest days, he took me aside. He was about 5'4" and maybe 130 pounds soaking wet, but he'd made millions and millions of dollars. And he was very, very dramatic, very New York. And he said to me, and I wanted to say this to Christina, he said to me, the way that you make it work is you watch the small money, the $5 something that you've got going out here, where you're paying $12 for something when over here you could have it for 10. And it's okay. It's not quite as good, but it's okay. He said that you got to watch that. Every damn one of them, Alan, because that's where you bleed. That's where you bleed. And obviously, all these many years later, 16, 17 years later, Peter's words still resonate because he was right. And I did internalize them, and I learned, sometimes I acted on them right, sometimes I didn't. But take that, file it away, do what you will with it. But man, he was spot on. He was spot on. And I remember him fondly, and I thought it would be something good to pass along to you, Christina.
Now, let me close with this. This is going to be a family project for all of us. I want you to go out and buy the game Cash Flow by Robert Kiyosaki. It is a game that I would highly recommend. It's like Monopoly times 10. Okay? But if you play that with your kids, all the time that they're growing up, you're going to better prepare them for adulthood. So that is the one thing. It's a fun game. It's a long game. It helps you think. It helps you realize how cash flow actually works in life. Okay? Everybody gets a job in the beginning. Everybody owns a business. Okay? And the ultimate goal is to create passive assets that exceed your income, and that makes you free. Okay? Now, what's interesting is the doctor versus the waitress has about 10 times a harder road to travel to get to freedom than the waitress. That's what I've discovered over the years of doing the game, because it teaches you, hey, even though you want to go and spend that, $10 on Starbucks, which is about what it is now, hey, you can do it. You got the money, but now you don't have that money to invest. You don't have that money to, protect yourself in a downturn. So the administrative finance piece of the business is number one. Operation Delegate can help. Again, go to operationdelegate.com. Glad you're here, Ruth. Everything that we talked about applies to all of us. And show up every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be here like clockwork. We will. We're here to help you out. Go out and make it happen. Have a wonderful time. You guys enjoyed.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.